recently we released a short film called Laid Out about our friend Josh, the bodybuilder. We released it, put it out like a month ago.
Yeah,
so.
beginning of the year.
It got a whopping 187 views, and we got a lot of questions asking us about how we did different things. So we wanted to go through and answer some of those questions for you today. I have here with me cinematographer and close collaborator Autry Jones, and he actually he brought this project. He had the idea for it.
Yeah, well, welcome to my basement. I was just down here one evening and I saw the light coming through. We can't see it, but the top window up here. And I just thought I just needed to shoot something down here. And that's when I reached out to Brooks. All I was looking for was something that looked cool to shoot. And I needed someone to pull together a story.
I think one thing that I would change about what we did with Lay It Out, or at least what I did, was I came into this project just wanting to make something cool, and I wasn't necessarily interested in the story just for the story. It made it a lot harder. Autry and I and Bryce were the three people who made this. Bryce did a lot of the edit with me, and we're not, super interested in bodybuilding this baseline. So that made it harder for me as a director to come into this and figure out something that I could relate to and share with other people. But I sort of sat down with Josh, talked about his bodybuilding, talked about his experience with it, and I decided to focus on sort of a broader idea of the tension of doing something you love either for yourself or for other people. And with that tension, we really wanted to lean into sort of a contrast of high energy and low energy, like a lot of stress and relaxation.
Gear-wise, I guess I can just run through the list. We shot most of the short film on Red Komodo, which I wish I had personally, but I thankfully had access through my full-time job of working for a video production company. For, I'd say, the more risky shots, I used my personal Blackmagic 6K. Like, this was a shot that we used for hanging over the bathtub.
That right here.
Yeah.
This guy.
Which we did not have really any overhead rigging for this shot. We just pretty much put it on top of a C-stand arm and hung it on top. It was kind of sketchy, but...
Action. Okay, so looking at the edit, we have this sort of intro prologue scene. This was actually not even a part of the original plan. We originally just were going to start with Josh walking into the basement, starting his lift, but as the story grew and as production sort of went along, we got into the edit and we realized, it'd be really cool to have more of a cohesive story that sort of shows, here's how people sort of see bodybuilding stereotypically, and then here's how Josh sees it. So this footage, we showed it on an old TV in the basement just to sort of give a more nostalgic sort of vintage feeling, but then also just to give some texture to, instead of just throwing some old like archival footage on the screen, I think we could get added a lot more dimension to show it actually being played on a physical TV.
I like to play with new toys when I do shoots, and this was my first time to work with a slider.
I think it's easy for people to just see it as like just some dumb like meathead kind of sport.
As Josh is talking about how people can sort of see this sport sometimes, there's this sort of like building drone that's sort of like building a little tension, feels like something is about to sort of break through, but it's sort of holding back right now, and that's sort of the feeling that sort of adds to that sort of push in of like intrigue.
And I definitely think it's one thing to just take like a static shot and then add the post zoom effect, and then just to actually do it.
Let's watch the video.
Let's go, come on, up. It's a constant game. I'm not good enough sometimes. It's a constant game of like, wow.
Okay, this workout scene, this was the main scene that we were sort of looking forward to shooting. This was supposed to be showing the internal dialogue that Josh has when he's working out. Like, I need to be better, I need to be stronger and bigger. And originally, the voices that you could hear like subtly in the background were a lot more pronounced. And then watching in the script, that felt good to me, but then watching back through it in the edit, it felt a little bit on the nose. So we pulled it back and added in some more interview to give a little, like, to fill out the story a little bit more.
This was kind of the main scene I had in mind to set up lighting for, and I think we had a lot of fun shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little too much fun.
Yeah, we spent like 6 hours shooting this, which we definitely did not need to do.
No, we did not. I put the 1200D shining through a 6x6 scrim on the right side of the frame, and then a 120D aperture light shining through, creating like the beam onto the ground there with a bunch of haze there. But I wish I would have put the scrim on the left side, kind of following the motivation of that beam of light up top. I still think it turned out pretty good in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And
The biggest.
This shot was a lot of fun. It's one of the. It's so satisfying. I'm learning to put a lot of like time into shots and then just have them sort of blow by in an edit for like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't take too long to set up, but it was fun because I think we set the bar on like some boxes or something, and then we just like squeezed the red under there, and Autry held it, and we just got the shot of him sort of standing up because, you know, if you think about it, the camera would not be able to fit under these weights looking out. So
it's one thing to have something just like in your storyboard, but then to actually see it come through
yeah,
is always nice, and especially when it's something a little bit more unique and not just running around and shooting what's happening.
right.
Struggle to be in the moment often. There's a lot of things that distract me and divide my mind.
I love match cuts, and I think it was a really great way to show Josh sort of going through life, sort of like almost like he's sort of stagnant, not moving, but life is moving around him. This was just piling a lot of sound effects on top of each other. I don't have the actual timeline here, but if I did, you'd be able to see that there's like 20 layers of sound design underneath this, sort of just building up and subliminally adding that like overwhelming feeling that you sort of get as the shots go faster and faster and things get closer and closer.
Mm-hmm. It's so fun whenever you're watching a video you made with, say, like your friends or family, and you see like your mouth appear on screen, and everyone's just like, or at least it's fun for whoever else is watching.
Where are you?
Oh yeah, I should have trimmed my beard a little bit more that day.
So, you know, an ice bath is what you do after hard workouts. So it felt like a good way to bring closure to that original scene where he was working out. Because now he's sort of, as the voiceover is talking about how he's coming to this place where he can do it for himself, just to relax, just to be in his own little world. We sort of feel like we've, you know, come full circle, and the ice bath is sort of just finishing that out. So fun scene to shoot.
Yeah,
as well.
trying to get us all into a small bathroom.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a couple issues we were having. My bathtub was not holding the water.
All right.
Totally
forgot about that.
Yeah, we like covered up the drain with
Like a towel or something?
it was a water glass.
Oh yeah. Just so it wouldn't drain.
Once we had the ice in there, we had to get the shots just right there, then and there.
Originally, in the storyboards, I thought it'd be cool. I have this fish tank, and I thought it'd be cool to put Autry's rig into the fish tank and sort of submerge down from like a POV shot, like looking up at Josh's face, and then it sort of go dark. That's how I was picturing in my mind. So we could fade into the final scenes of him lifting weights, all resolved as a character. But that definitely did not work out. Got some awkward, fun times out of that.
Be better than everyone else. Something my dad used to tell me is that it doesn't matter how hard you train, and it doesn't matter if you win if you're not doing your best.
That last line actually a bunch of these last lines that we've been hearing through this ice bath scene were really hard to get. As a director, it's really important that you know what you want. And I knew the general feeling that I was going for at the end, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted Josh to say. And that was one of the challenges of this, trying to get it to feel natural, like he said it himself, not scripted, but also for him to hit that feeling. So Josh is currently in DC, So I had a long video call with him, probably like 45 minutes to an hour. I went through and just picked out a few little snippets here and there and coupled them together. And, you know, I don't think you can tell that he was across the country when he was recording those.
As we mentioned, my role in this whole shoot was the cinematographer and the later on the colorist. It was really cool to see how it changed and developed like after I put my camera down on shoot day, because there's a lot of different things that changed.
It was super cool to work with Bryce on this. He's very quick with his Premiere hotkeys and knows his way around the program very well, much more than I do. So we went to a coffee shop one day and just spent like 6 or 7 hours just dialing in pretty much the whole skeleton of the edit. And then I went back through and cleaned stuff up and added some stuff.
I think the true success is knowing that you laid it all out.
So there's where the title comes in, lay it out, which was actually one of the hardest parts of the video. We struggled with the title so much. We asked in ChatGPT, we were brainstorming, and I personally didn't really like Lay It Out that much as a title, but eventually decided that it's just better to get it out there and share it and be done with it than to keep stewing over the title. What's your rating overall of the experience?
Of the experience?
The experience and the final product.
I think I'd give it either like a 7.5 or an 8
For experience?
for experience.
And why?
I think this was pretty much like our first short film together, and so it was a great learning experience.
Totally. Yeah.
Definitely some things I'd go back and change, having learned new lighting techniques and new camera skills. Good to have out there.
Yeah.
Something I'm proud to have on my portfolio for sure, and proud to have out for people to see.
It's easy for me to focus on just making something flashy and shiny. I think taking the time to go back and try to get the story, as best as I could get it, at least, yielded like a much more like rewarding result. I don't know how to end this. That was cut right there.
Fronteggiamo le sventure. Buia, solo stelle, nulla più. Prova di coraggio, di virtù.